Hello there, guys, and welcome back to That Anxious Gamer. It is 4:36 a.m. on July the 14th, 2023, and today I'm going to be covering the patch, the recent patch. It's been about 2 to 3 hours of Mechabellum. So we're going to be looking at update 0.7.13, breaking that down and telling you all I think about the updates. So I was extremely excited to see this morning. This is pretty exciting stuff. So let's dig in right now and see what's actually changed. So we're going to be going to the patch notes here on Reddit, and there's also a Steam link here. So what has changed? Basically, number one, hacker tech multiple control cost adjusted from 300 to 250. What do I think about this? Well, multiple control is only really good, in my opinion, is if they're building a lot of chafe, but it's not too small. So, for instance, I did a game in with hackers where I used multiple control when he was going mass sledgehammers. I think against sledgehammers, multiple control can be quite good. So if you're spamming Fang with hacker and they're going into mass sledge, I think multiple control can be quite good. The problem being with multiple control is that it actually decreases the overall strength of your conversion arcs. I believe it's like 17% of the original, but you get 5 instead of 1. So you lose a little bit of strength. So you're paying for an upgrade to actually make your units a little bit worse. But the advantage is you can control multiple units at one time. I believe it also decreases the range a little bit. This isn't a very good tech, to be honest. I almost never use it. But, dropping from 300 to 250, I could see it becoming stronger in these smaller niche cases. So I think this will mainly help if you're going against a lot of chafe, a lot of ground army, but it's not like crawlers. So I could kind of see it in certain cases. Let's move on to the next piece. A lot of this is about armor upgrades. So we're going to be talking about these armor enhancement upgrades. So Sledgehammer's tech armor enhancement now adds an additional 20% HP. The price of armor piercing bullets has been adjusted from 300 to 250. So this overall, guys, is a big buff for the sledge. A lot of people I've been reading on the Reddit have been thinking that sledges are kind of weak, guys. They even the units that they're supposed to counter, they seem to not do so great as the game goes on. I think this is fantastic. I would love to see more sledgehammer compositions. So I think adding an additional 20% HP on tech armor enhancement is super good. I think it'll make sledges way more viable. The price of armor piercing bullets, I believe that grants like 50% increase the armor piercing or something like that. That's a little bit more nebulous in how much it will help. I mean, it's going from 300 to 250, so it's making the upgrade cheaper. But is the upgrade good to begin with? Probably is good. I haven't played enough. I'm going to be honest with you with sledgehammers because, like I said, I don't think they're very good. They're not in a great state right now. So I would say this is good. I would say the bigger upgrade to sledges, though, is definitely the armor enhancement, giving additional 20% HP. I think that's really strong and will make sledges way better in a lot of composition. So let's move on to what is changing about the Rhino. Again, we see a similar theme, guys. Armor enhancement. Now we're going to armor enhancement on the Rhino. Now grants an additional 20% HP. So this is just a complete copy pasta from the sledgehammer. What do I think about this? The Rhino is already good, guys, especially if you do like flanking maneuver with the Rhino. The Rhino is good. I mean, Whirlwind is good. Rhino, good unit, guys. I think it's fantastic. I love the Rhino. Giving more HP to the Rhino is good. So the Rhino, I'm actually planning, guys, on making a whole tier list. So that's upcoming. So if you want to see that, definitely hit the like, hit that subscribe button. But the Rhino having armor enhancement now giving an additional 20% HP. It's already a good unit. It's only making it better. I love it. More Rhino spam. Let's go. Arclight. Now this is interesting. Arclight technology armor enhancement now adds an additional 20% HP. So again, more copy pasta armor enhancement. So this you could really call this patch update 0.7.13 could be called armor enhancement patch because that's what it's doing in most cases. Adds an additional 20% HP, and the price is adjusted from 100 to 150. So now, interestingly, even though like the Rhino doesn't get a price adjustment, Arclights do. I almost always use armor enhancement when I use arc lights because I think it's quite strong on the arc lights. That and arc light range seems to be the two big ones on arc lights that helps a lot. So it adds an additional 20%, and you have a moderate price increase. Honestly, guys, for 50 cost to get 20% HP, I think this is still a buff to the arc light. The arc light isn't in the best state, in my opinion, because I think the Vulcan is just straight up stronger, not the Rhino. My apologies. So I think this is good because I would love to see more arc lights. It just feels like they're a niche unit that is great in the early game to basically stop crawlers, and then they stop really being that effective, and it feels like there's much better units. So why would you build arc lights? That's just my thought. Sphere balls, tech armor enhancement now grants an additional 20% HP, and the price is adjusted from 300 to 350. This is important on steel balls, guys. Steel balls are already really good. I don't even understand steel balls. Steel balls is the Chad unit, guys. If you want to be a Chad, build steel balls. It feels like steel balls basically beat most things on the ground, and that's why you hear steel stang being so strong. If you build Mustangs that beat air units, you build steel balls, they beat ground units. It's a really good composition. I think steel balls really, really good unit. If you know on the tier list, it would probably be in the S tier, to be honest with you. So, again, if you're looking forward to that, hit the sub, hit the like. Um, I think steel balls getting an additional 20% HP is probably not great because they're already strong. However, the price is really high, 350. That's going to be hard to afford, guys. That's a big chunk. That's really only a late game upgrade. So, I feel like this will be really only in the mid game or late game, and only if you're really going into steel balls. So I'm okay with that. I think it's fine. Melting point, HP increased by 3%. I don't even understand this. This is kind of I feel like every game developer throws in one patch, like one adjustment that like nobody even thought about or knew why or what was going on. This is that adjustment for this patch. I don't know who was asking for an HP increase from the melting point because it already has a lot of HP. And I don't understand what 3% is going to do because I don't know if that's a break point or something. Feels very arbitrary. But anyway, melting point is a little bit stronger. You're only building melting points in very specific situations. They count on very specific units. I don't think the HP increasing or decreasing by less than 5% is going to affect things at all. So let's move on. Vulcan. This is a huge change, guys. This is probably the biggest change in the patch, in my opinion, other than the armor enhancement. The armor enhancement changes. I think this is huge. The XP required to level up Vulcan has been adjusted from 1600 to 2200. The Vulcan basically beats the arc light. Why would you build the arc light when you can build Vulcans? They're super good. I would say the only big advantage is the Vulcans. It's a giant unit, giant killer could come into play. It may be easier if your opponent's doing hackers for them to control one big unit versus multiple small units. But ultimately, the Vulcan is a god tier unit. It's like an S plus 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 tier unit. This is really a big nerf to the Vulcan because it's going to make it a lot longer to level up. A lot of times, if they spam crawlers, you could just put out one Vulcan and level it up in a single turn just from killing all the crawlers. So I think I hate to see this because I'm obviously a Vulcan lover. I'm a huge Vulcan advocate. I'm on Team Vulcan 100%. This is painful to me, but I can kind of see it for game balance. I do understand why this is the case. So that's interesting. Next update preview. So now we're talking about what's coming up for, I guess, patch 0.7.14. Core building fortification. Each core building can be fortified individually. Players can increase the HP of one core building to 200,000. Okay, let's talk about this, guys. So what I think this is made to combat, guys, is a lot of people have been complaining in the subreddit about basically flanking rhinos, do mobile beacon, and then basically just send them on a suicide mission against your command center. So I can see this being a counteracting to that, right? You just fortify your core buildings. I like it because I don't think it's going to be a huge deal in most games. But I think against certain pure cheese strategies or like strategies that they're just rushing to the command center to try to knock it down to debuff your units, I think this is good. I think that it's going to be niche. I don't think you're going to be doing this in every game unless the upgrades are very cheap. But I could see it have some late game utility, and I think it's overall a good change. Um, the last change, missile interceptor. Players can place devices on the battlefield to intercept enemy missiles. Battlefield power cannot be intercepted. Um, so what is this going to do? This is okay. I think the missile interceptor. I think missiles are kind of a little bit of a trap because if you're building too many missiles, you're actually denying XP from your units, so you're almost hurting yourselves. Um, I do think missiles can be good in certain situations. Since missiles are already kind of niche and work sometimes, but you're not spamming them all the time, to build missile interceptors to counter missiles, it's kind of like you're building an even more niche unit to counter a niche unit. So I think that's fine. I don't think it's going to be a game changer. I do think it will be really cool to use in certain specific scenarios. I'm all for adding more to the game, but I don't think it's going to be huge. And then basically battlefield paths cannot be intercepted. Obviously, that's great because if you're getting like a let's say like an ion storm or you're getting like a nuke, you don't want that to just be totally interceptable. That would make no sense. That would take away a lot of the fantasy and the role play and the power of those abilities. So yeah, guys, that's basically wrapping up patch 0.7.13. Definitely in the comments, let me know what you guys think. I think it was an overall good patch. I'm super happy with the developers. They seem to be really on top of this game, patching often, which is, I think, very good. And yeah, I plan to be covering every single patch for this game. So if you like this and you thought this was helpful, push the like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next patch. Thanks again, guys.